Heidi ho, everyone, and welcome aboard. It is Sunday, a fabulous Sunday it's been to here in Hobart, Tasmania, from where I come to you, live and true. We are going to have a little chat about trading as normal in the weekly Sunday market update. And first up, we're going to go to New Zealand. I haven't spoken to me, Julian, for ages. G'day, mate.
Geoff, how are you, mate? How's things? And good evening, everybody, and good morning, everybody, wherever you are in the world. So, hello, everyone. And yeah, look, I think I'm going to do. Thank you, Geoff. Should I get straight into it? Are you happy for me to go straight in?
Well, I was going to ask you a question, but
go with the question.
I was just going to. Well, it's really not a question, I suppose. It's a bit of a statement. And I was thinking only, I don't know, yesterday that the world keeps on throwing up little events for us, doesn't it? That give us trading opportunities. We had.
Let's hope it stays little.
Yeah, indeed. It's the elephant in the room. We can't dismiss it, I suppose. Just like Brexit was, just like Trump was, just like COVID was, and now we've got Putin. What do we do?
Yeah. Look, I've just done a session on Trader Cafe, and for those of you who are members, you'll see that, and I encourage you to go and have a look at that. I think the key thing for me is really straightforward, is that so conflicts, and I think we can at this stage still call it a conflict, do two things. They either never happen and it's all a bit of a damp squid and we all go back to life as normal, or else if they do take place, they tend to be relatively short-lived. One hopes that if this does take place, it's going to be relatively short-lived. I'm not a military strategist, so I couldn't tell you one way or another. I would assume that life means it won't escalate, and let's just run with that as our best case scenario, whatever does happen, if it does start. And I say to everybody, look, the market will not trade in anything other than a relatively crazy fashion, I think, for the first week or so, right? You're going to have a lot of volatility. Nobody really, if you have a scoot round the markets in terms of experience, I wonder how many people have traded through a significant conflict, right? That would be my question to all of this, right? And I suspect the answer is not very many as a percentage. So there'll be a lot of volatility, there'll be a lot of surprises, there'll be a lot of ups, there'll be a lot of downs, and it could affect lots of things in lots of different ways. So you really have to keep your positions tight, your risk very low, and just if you want to trade through it, just be cautious and be careful. Take the opportunities where you can, and give it some time, and realize that headlines and news is going to happen outside of market trading hours, especially over weekends, and there's nothing you can do to control it. So on the assumption that Geoff has gone black, I'm going to carry on talking in that case then. And
go for your life, mate. I just had to wet my whistle, as a matter of fact, and I didn't think
that's okay.
Needed to see that.
I'm good. I'm really happy drinking my glass of water in front of everybody, but I understand why you might not. Look, let's have a quick talk, because I don't want to hold everybody up too much, guys. I could put some charts up, but I want you to go and do this yourself. Okay, so here's the homework. Okay, the homework for the day is get some charts out, go and have a look at them and see what I'm seeing, hopefully, if you can. Okay, there's some moves going on in currencies that are really interesting right now. Okay, there's some bullish momentum divergence going on in Aussie and in Kiwi, and there's bearish momentum divergence going on in dollar yen. Okay, that is backed up. In fact, a lot of the yen crosses, that is backed up by the commitment of traders, which is a piece of fundamental analysis we do from time to time. Those who watch this show regularly will know that Ash does that stuff and looks at those figures. At the moment, it appears that commercials have been accumulating shorts in dollar yen and longs in the Aussie and the Kiwi. So those are the two that I think, or three currency pairs I think are very interesting at the moment. For the record, I also think that the sterling Kiwi as well too is looking again potential down from here, as is the Aussie Kiwi as well too. So that really says that there's a general mood that the Kiwi dollar may outperform over the next few weeks. It's nearby, if you like, nearby most popular crosses. Now, getting on to some of the commodity markets, I think the key one for us is the biggie that's breaking out at the moment. I'm sure everybody's aware of precious metals. that gold is doing stuff, and it may be because of Ukraine, it may not be because of Ukraine. I think there was a huge buyer in the market. We've talked about this endlessly on my Trader Cafe show about 3 or 4 weeks ago, a significant buyer in the gold market when it really was very unloved and nobody wanted to know anything about gold. They all thought it was as boring could be. And here we are, I think $150 later, right? So it's an interesting space. On the weekly chart, it looks like it's going to have some kind of retest of a previous high, or possibly even do better than that. No reason to think right now that it's going to reverse, but who knows? We'll take it as it comes. Right now, out of all the markets, it's clearly the most positive and certainly one to consider buying dips on, I think. For the record, again, those of you who follow me, you know that I look at the coffee market. It's been a favorite commodity market of mine, not really because it's an indicator of any kind. I just had a bit of a strong fundamental view on this for the last almost 4 years now. I'm going for 3 years, so it's probably 4. When I think about it, I've been bullish for a very long time, all the way from 90 up to the current $250. Right now, I think it's overbought. I think there's a lot of commercial shorts in the market. They're almost at an extreme level. We have bearish momentum divergence starting to pick up. I think there's a good opportunity for those who like trading coffee from the short side to consider a short in coffee as it retraces back to what you might consider to be a more normal level, which will be sub $200, more like 150. I think is probably the natural level for where coffee ought to trade. So that's interesting. And again, I think the last thing I would like to mention is to talk about oil. So here's something interesting. So as the risk of conflict seems to get greater and greater, the oil price doesn't seem to be rallying. It's rallying a little, but it's not rallying as much as maybe something like gold has been. So what's going on? Well, the answer for me is pretty clear. I think everybody who wants to buy oil by now has already bought it. I think the market is quite long. I think it's carrying quite a long position. If a conflict breaks out, then who knows about supply chains, and as a result of that, it might well go even higher than where we are now. But beware spike tops, beware of situations where the market might normalize. And obviously, if there is a resolution to the conflict, you could easily argue that oil is significantly overvalued. We know that from the shape of the curve. It's very backwardated. For those who don't know what that means, either go look it up or see my podcast. I might not have access to it, but go look it up in the on Google to have a look what a backwardated curve looks like. Oil has that. At the moment, they're trying to get it out of storage and put it into the spot market. I don't think there's a real shortage of oil. I think there's a real length of speculators who are willing to hold on to their oil in the hope that prices are going to continue to rally. So that's really one where if I have a worry wart, it's really around that. I think a lot of people have positions there already. So again, nothing happens. We have a neutral situation with Ukraine. The Russians pull back. I suspect oil might come off quite quickly, back into the 70s, possibly even lower. So who knows? Right, again, who knows, right? And again, if conflict does break out, watch out for those extremes. Geoff, I think that's probably it for me on the markets in terms of where things are going. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say, right? When it comes to stock markets, there have been 33 stock market corrections between 1971 and 2022. 33. Okay, only 7 of those have turned into a bear market. So it's a 20% chance or more than a chance. So you have a sorry, okay. Hopefully you guys heard me over that. Maybe I'll just repeat those stats one more time. Please. Okay, so from 1971 to 2022, there have been 33 stock market corrections. Okay, out of those, only 1 in 5 has been more than 15%. Okay, so that means there's an 80% chance that this correction that we're in at the moment is almost over. Okay, I just want to leave that with you. You may argue it's stock market expensive. You may argue many, many things, but the probabilities are against you on betting against the stock market, on betting the stock market going to continue to go down. For the record, when you have had a bear market, it's lasted for 475 days on average, with an average correction of 35%. So when you think about that, it means you have plenty of opportunity to sell rallies, plenty of opportunities to get out of positions, and also acquire new ones as well too. That's a different type of trading strategy. when we're in a bear market. But the reality is, unless the economy turns down, and there's absolutely no sign of either the European or the US economy turning down, slowing down maybe, turning down no, right? Turning down significantly. There is no sign of a recession anywhere. Then sort of, if there isn't a sign of a recession, then why would the stock market go significantly lower? I'm going to leave everybody with that comment, and I'll pass it over to somebody else now.
Cheers, mate. Before you go, somebody behind you.
Wow.
Without notice, sorry. You didn't realise what was behind you, didn't you?
Oh, this is it's Milford Sound behind me in the background.
It is, right. That was the question. One of my hats is at the bottom of that somewhere.
Geoff, if you've got caught on the front of that boat when they decided to push you under the waterfall, you deserve everything you got if that's where your hat is. Or if it was a windy day, then again, I'm afraid I can't help you. It rains a lot in Milford Sound. I think when I went there, we caught it on possibly one of the nicest days there's ever been, and it was absolutely fantastic, and it had just been raining. So the waterfalls were gorgeous. Tourist advert time, guys. It's one of the seventh or eighth or ninth wonders of the world. Milford Sound, absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't been, come to New Zealand whenever you can. Hopefully in the next 6 months we're going to open up, and come and visit these things. We need your money as well too.
If that's the ninth wonder of the world, the eighth wonder of the world is actually how you get into it. If you fly into it, did you fly into it or did you sail into it?
I've done both. I've flown into it, and I've also taken the tour bus. The tour bus is you stick your life in the hands of a driver who never slows down, and they have special suspension to hold the bus on the roads. So flying into it is an absolutely crazy experience. For those of you who haven't done it, travelled in a small aeroplane, then it's an excellent way to cure you of ever having to worry about turbulence in an aircraft again. Going over the hills from Queenstown in a light aircraft is just absolutely amazing. You get thrown about all over the place. And it's only balsa wood holding you together. So how exciting is that?
Yeah. But the views are pretty damn good, aren't they? That's
it doesn't get any better.
End of tourism, New Zealand. And look, 100%. Glad to hear you say that Aussie Kiwi is on your sell list. It's my number one trade for the week upcoming.
There we go.
See how it goes.